Hello, class of 1970. I am Keener Fry, the Executive Director of the University of Wyoming Alumni Association. With the 2020 homecoming activities being canceled this year and the 50th club reunion on our campus being postponed until the fall of 2020-21, we will sure miss all of you all coming back to campus. While our plans may have changed, one thing has not, and that's the pride and the spirit that the Wyoming community has for the university. We are looking forward to welcoming you back in the fall of 2021 when we can celebrate in person as we have for 90 some years. Please take advantage of some of the virtual offerings and enjoy homecoming this year, albeit in a very different way, but nonetheless know that you will be joined by thousands of cowboys and cowgirls all over the country.
My name's Marilyn Kite. I was Marilyn Stebner in 1970. Welcome to all of you members of the class of 1970. I graduated, of course, in 1970 from undergraduate and from 1974 from law school.
And I'm Bill Hill, and hello to all our classmates from 1970. I also received a bachelor's degree, a Bachelor of Arts in 1970, and subsequently got a law degree in 1974.
Well, I have been very lucky in my life so far, and I'm very grateful for all of the blessings that I've enjoyed and my family and friends have enjoyed. Graduated from law school, as I said, in 1974, and went to work at the Wyoming Attorney General's office as an Assistant Attorney General for Environment and Natural Resources, and had 3 wonderful years in that position. Learned a lot about practicing law and about the environmental regulation framework, and got to be on the front lines, really, because we're so old now, as you all know, that was back when the regulations first passed. So it was an exciting time for me. I left state government in 1978 and went to work for the law firm of Holland and Hart, which at the time was a Denver firm, but was looking for opportunities to expand around the region, and became ultimately a regional firm. And I was starting the office in Cheyenne and then ultimately in Jackson when my husband and I moved to Jackson, Wyoming. And I'm married to Skip Jacobson, who was a member of the class of '69 and also a member of one of those Wyoming football teams, the Sugar Bowl team, that was so important to us at the time. My husband and I raised a son, Gus Jacobson, who now is working in northern Colorado. And my husband, Skip Jacobson, was an attorney for the Spence firm in Jackson, and I was working for the Holland and Hart firm up there. So we spent wonderful 27 years, I guess it was, in Jackson. And as we retired and needed to downsize, and our son was down in this neck of the woods, along with most of my family, we returned to Laramie and are so excited to be here and be close to the university in our retirement. Retirement seems to be very busy with both volunteer and some professional work. And both of us enjoying good health, and our families enjoying good health, and we couldn't be more grateful and thankful for the start that the University of Wyoming gave both my husband and I, and has allowed us to thrive and have a wonderful family and professional life.
Well, our careers have tracked each other quite a bit. We were in the same undergraduate class. We'd met in high school, actually. I was from Riverton, Maryland's from Laramie. We were classmates as undergraduates. We were classmates in law school. And after law school, I also became an assistant attorney general. And we commuted together from Laramie to Cheyenne to work for 3 years, 3+ years.
On the champagne flight, we used to call it.
That's enough about that. But, I also left the Attorney General's office, and I actually made my way out to Seattle. And I was short stints in private practice in Seattle and then back in Riverton. And I have, too, been greatly blessed with wonderful opportunities. In 1980, I was offered the chance to go back to Washington, D.C. and be chief of staff for Senator Malcolm Wallop, who was the senior senator from Wyoming at that time. And I went back there and had a wonderful time. I was actually there for 9 years as chief of staff for Senator Wallop. And I met my wife back there, who happens to be a University of Wyoming graduate as well. She graduated substantially later in the 70s. She was working for Senator Alan Simpson as his press secretary. And ultimately, we were married, and our first child was born back there, our son. And we knew we had to get back to Wyoming, and we were trying very hard to do that. And here comes Marilyn again, who I had stayed very close to all through those years. And she helped me find an opportunity with the law firm of Holland and Hart. And we moved to Cheyenne, where our daughter was born, rather than in DC. And I was with Holland and Hart in private practice for a period of time. And then I got a chance to go be a federal prosecutor. So I was an assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Wyoming for 4 years. And I got another great opportunity to go be attorney general for the state of Wyoming for 4 years. And then I applied for and was fortunate and blessed enough to be picked as a justice of the Wyoming Supreme Court. And shortly thereafter, Justice Kike got appointed to the Wyoming Supreme Court. And we served together for 14 years on the Supreme Court. And I retired in February of 2018 because the Constitution told me I was now senile and I had to retire. So I am in retirement as well. My wife stayed involved with Senator Simpson and then worked for Governor Geringer and most recently worked for Governor Meade. And she is now retired too. So we live in Cheyenne, and we have 2 beautiful grandchildren who unfortunately live clear down in Texas. But we still got them, and we are in a position to see them. And that's how that all came about.
And I want to add that as you can tell, our careers and our lives have been entwined all these years. Certainly one of the reasons I applied to the Wyoming Supreme Court was Justice Hill was already there and encouraged me to do that. And I did have the privilege of being the first woman selected to serve on the Wyoming Supreme Court. It was a great privilege and a wonderful way to cap off my career.
We both had the opportunity to serve as Chief Justice when we were on the court. And of course, as the first woman justice, she was also the first woman Chief Justice.
Well, I have 2 kind of general strong memories as I think of my time at the university. And the first one is, of course, the fun that we had. And there was a lot of that. And it seemed to be focused around the Wyoming athletics. Those years were when we went to the Sun Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and we had great success in basketball and a lot of the other sports. And that provided a great bringing together of people at the university and a feeling of camaraderie that's hard to describe. So I also was lucky to be in the presence of my Tri Delta sisters at the Tri Delta sorority and had a lot of ties that we still, a group of us all these years later, every year we do our retreat, as we call it, and get together. And those relationships are so powerful and so strong and have helped all of us, I think, live a fuller life. And so certainly those memories are very strong. And the other side of it is sort of maybe the yin and the yang, is the turmoil that the country and our state and even the university was going through in the late 60s, and the memories of assassinations and protests and feelings of discord and unrest. And they reached even to the Laramie campus, certainly not as much as the rest of the country, but I do have a distinct memory of standing on Prexy's under the flagpole when the controversy developed about whether that flag should be flown at half-mast to recognize the deaths of the students at Kent State. and having very, very strong feelings both ways, and not knowing exactly where I would want to land personally. But so those, and then the coloring of the Vietnam War over that period of time. My brother was in Vietnam. Most of my male friends, including Justice Hill, were worried about the draft, and so that I know colored all of our memories, all of the class of 1970 at that time. But the more powerful memories for me are the happy ones, and the camaraderie and the friendships.
And I go along with all of that. It's really hard to sort out all the memories of all of the fun and all of the wonderful people that I knew in those years, and fortunately still know so many of. Part of it for me was also, I was in a fraternity, I was in Sigma Nu fraternity, and so many really dear friends from that experience. I also had the good fortune to enjoy the really exceptional athletics that went on at the University of Wyoming. We even had baseball back in those days.
And skiing.
Yes, national champions
Yeah.
in skiing, as a matter of fact. English professor named Robert Rohrpaugh, who recently passed away. After he retired from the university, he lived in Laramie for the rest of his life. He was a very interesting man. I did not know all the reasons why until after college, but I had him for literature of the West and was very, very impressed with him, his sense of humor, his great knowledge. But I was drawn to him for other reasons. I liked his dry sense of humor, and he obviously understood the West very much. I came to find out that I'm a Riverton guy. He grew up on a ranch in Lander, outside of Lander. So we had some things in common that we only years later found out about. But he was a writer. He published novels. He was an excellent poet. In fact, he was poet laureate of the state of Wyoming for I think it was 8 years under Governor Gehring. And we stayed in touch, unlike so many of them that I lost touch with. I stayed in touch with Mr. Rohrpaugh, Professor Rohrpaugh, up until the time of his death. And he really, really sticks in my mind.
And I when I think of my professors in particular, one stands out, and he was my advisor in the political science department, Dr. Ken Baker. And both for his teaching abilities and his ability to connect with students and really encourage and inspire them. When I was a senior, I had no idea what I was going to do. I was getting a degree in international affairs and French, and at the same time didn't want to leave Wyoming. So obviously my career planning wasn't very good. But I had it suggested to me by someone when I was interviewing for a job of whether I'd ever thought of going to law school, which frankly I had never thought of, and couldn't see myself in that role. And I went and talked to Dr. Baker to see if he thought I could handle it and if that was something I should consider. And he was actually angry with me that I would even question that, and said, "Of course you can and you should." So I really credit him with heading me in the direction of studying law and having the career that I did.
I should point out that I was so impressed with Bob Rohrpaugh that I went to the head of the English department and asked if he could be assigned as my advisor. And he was for the rest of the time I was an undergraduate.
Well, it has been important for me to remain connected to the university, I think really out of a feeling of gratitude of all that I received from the university. And when you get out around the state and you see what a critical institution it is to the state of Wyoming, how it really truly binds this state together. There isn't a county in this state that you can't go to if you graduated from the University of Wyoming and find somebody that you know and that you can connect with. And if you get stuck in a blizzard in that particular part of the state, that you could ask to stay at their home. And that is something that I want for our children and my grandchildren and the rest of the state to continue to enjoy and to make through the troubled times, including the time we're in right now. So it has been important to me to stay involved with the university in various volunteer positions and advisory boards, and to the law school also. And the Alumni Association, of course, is the engine that keeps all of us connected to the university. So I felt like it's gratifying. You get to see and be involved with the students and see the young people and see their development and how things are a lot the same and a lot different than they were for us. But it's a critical part of my husband and my life here at the university.
I agree with that completely. We've talked about it, Marilyn and I think we both feel we owe a debt to the university. And I've stayed involved in several ways as well with the university, and I know Marilyn and Skip do too, but I mean, season ticket holders, Cowboy Joe Club. I spent 10 years on the board of advisors for the the board of visitors at the College of Arts and Sciences, and I am now on the board of advisors for the Wyoming Heritage Center. But beyond that, helping at the law school, we both certainly do that whenever we're asked. Many ways that we can help and can give back. And by the way, we're both life members of the Alumni Association.
Well, I guess I'd like to say to all of you out there, many of whom I get to see on a relatively regular basis, that we're going to miss each other this year, having to change the plans and go virtual. But we sure hope that you're all back here in Laramie a year from now, and we'll celebrate then. But best wishes to all of you, and for your families and for your good health.
And I would echo that. I certainly wish you all well. I hope that you're doing well. I hope you enjoy good health. And we'll get to see you next year.